Hi, my name is Valerie and this is my 14th video on my no-poo hair care experience. So my last video was on September 13th and that's where I used just plain yogurt, and it didn't really clean my hair, it kind of just added another layer of residue to it. But since then I've had 4 showers. And back at camp, because as you can see I'm at my apartment now, but back at camp I had an egg shower with apple cider vinegar. I had a tea shower with apple cider vinegar again. But then coming back here, I had basically just a soak and a bubble bath using Dr. Teal's lavender and Epsom salt bubble bath soap. And I didn't use any sort of vinegar to rinse it out, so it just kind of didn't really take any oil off of my hair. It felt like it added another layer of the Epsom salt to my hair. So that was a little disappointing. My skin felt clean though. But my last shower was egg with lemon juice rinse, and it made my hair pretty clean. So I thought that's probably the best thing to do is clean it with egg, try and get everything out, and then the next shower, which will be today, I can try a new ingredient, and that is going to be, because today's October 15th now, I'm going to use aloe vera fresh from the plant, and then I'm going to use a lemon juice rinse. So this is my beautifully crooked aloe plant. It was much straighter and taller 3 months ago before I left, but I guess when it starts leaning over and then your husband doesn't turn it, this is what happens. So I'm going to take some of the big juicy leaves off from the bottom, and I'm going to prepare them for use in my hair. So I cut off a few basil leaves, also known as bottom leaves, and even though they're the largest, most mature leaves in the plant, because the plant had been leaning over, they were kind of flat and on their way to dying. So I cut off the flat parts and just kept the thick parts, and now I am letting them drain. You're supposed to let it drain for 10 minutes so that the latex compound fluid stuff that is in and just under the skin of the plant is not going to end up in your product and end up, harming your skin if you happen to be allergic to latex. So we shall see what comes out of these plants after 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Let's see. Well, doesn't really look like much of anything came out. Oh, this one had some grossness. Yep, this one had some yellow stuff come out too, so it does come out. Yep, that one had some yellow stuff. This one didn't have much. This one is kind of thin, so maybe that's why. Maybe the plant sucked it back out. This one didn't really have much come out either. This one had some come out. This one didn't really have much of anything. Nope. This one looks like maybe some stuff came out. Let's see. You can kind of see there's little bits of yellow goo in the bottom of there. Huh, interesting. Okay, now that we have all of the latex, or at least I hope all the latex drained out, we are going to peel and scoop. So the idea is you have your aloe in kind of a boat shape. So I'm just gonna scoot all this over. And then you go to peel off the top. And then you scoop out the gel. So peel off the top, scoop out the gel, and then I'm just going to put it in my bowl. We'll see how easy this is. or isn't. Hopefully without cutting myself. Okay, very gooey, probably because it was sitting in the sun for a while, but very gooey. And then scoop out the white gel part. Ooh. Slippery. Alright, I have gel in my spoon and I'm going to get it all over the counter if I'm not careful somehow. But still, it's pretty cool. It's super gooey. Ew. But my fingers are going to feel really nice at the end of this. Well, I'll do the rest of it off camera because it's going to take me a little bit. So we shall see what to do after this is over. So I am going to take my bowl of gel. I don't know if you can see that, it's going to like fall out. But I'm going to take my bowl of gel, I'm going to put it in the blender, and then just going to do my best to liquefy it. Now, a lot of the recipes that I find for aloe, they also include 2 tablespoons of honey. So it would be a 1/4 cup of aloe gel if you have that much, and 2 tablespoons of raw honey mixed together. And then after that's been liquefied, you would put it on your hair for a little while, let it sit, and then rinse it out. And then they also say, you know, you don't have to use any sort of conditioner afterwards because both the aloe and the honey will condition your hair. But I am just going to use the aloe gel today. I'm not going to use any honey, partly because I don't have any, and partly because I want to try just the aloe by itself to see what it will do. But I am going to use lemon juice as a rinse afterwards, just to see what that combination will do to my hair. A lot of liquid from the plant collected in the bowl. So I'm going to see if I can make sure to get all of that in there. Alright. And then there is not enough to cover the top blades, just the bottom blades. But I will blend this and then I will see you later. We're trying a different camera angle today since I am by myself. Usually my husband is the one that is filming off to the side over there, so I can look in the mirror and, you know, do mirror stuff. But since he's not here, I decided to put the camera on the counter and film directly at me. So it's kind of like what I did in the camper, except instead of my laptop, I'm using the camera. So you should have much better quality, and the lighting is awesome in here compared to the camper, so you should actually be able to see stuff. So, I would say using an egg at home now that it's been 3 months or a little over 3 months, I think my hair is a little bit better. It's drastically better than being in the camper. I definitely don't have all of that hard water residue, calcium residue in my hair, and my hair looks a heck of a lot better. The ends look pretty clean, but as you can see, it is kind of stringy looking up here. You can definitely see it around my ears. It parts very well around my ears, but compared to being in the camper, it is definitely not super dark up here. I didn't really notice the oil until about day 3, which is interesting because before, when I was here, it only took about day 2 to see a good amount of oil in my hair. So day 3, that's definitely an improvement, I think. And on day 3, even though I had oil in my hair, if I messed my hair up a little bit, it didn't look overly dirty or stringy or anything. Even my husband, whom I specifically asked, said that it looked okay. But now that it's day 4, it's definitely much darker up here. It feels oilier. And then as you can tell, like I said, it's definitely more stringy, kind of towards like the bottom of the hair. And I mean, yeah, it definitely looks oily. It's definitely stiff. It's not as bad as it was in the camper. But I feel like compared to 3 months ago, back in June, it looks a heck of a lot better. It's definitely still something where, like, if I was gonna go out, I would want to put it in a ponytail or into braids. But you can see it's definitely all like stringy on the underside too. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it kind of peters out about halfway, maybe a little bit more now that I'm using the boar bristle brush and pulling that oil down through my hair. And but overall I think it looks okay. I am still excited to take a shower though, but I definitely don't look as bad as when I first started out. And I definitely don't look as bad as I did in the camper. That just goes to show that the water here is definitely not as hard, and it does better for my hair. So I'm excited to try this aloe gel and see how it turns out. So blending the aloe gel was easy. It took just 2 seconds of spinning and it was a complete liquid. Putting it in my hair, on the other hand, that was more difficult. I did not have enough to cover my hair, like, at all. I needed like 4 or 5 times the amount that I had in order to cover all my hair. So if I was going to do that again, I would definitely want to harvest more of the plant. But instead of doing that, I probably will go to the drugstore and they have these jars of food grade aloe gel, and I would use that instead. But I had first started trying to put it on top of my head, but it's a liquid and you can't exactly grab liquid like you can with the egg. The egg is a bit more gooey, you can kind of like scoop it on, but the aloe gel was almost like water and that didn't work too well. So I thought, okay, I'll take the ponytail and I'll stick it in and I'll soak it up and then I'll put it on my head and, you know, scrub it in. Well, doing that and my hair just drank it up. And I was able to get some onto this part of my head and a little on the other side, but it kind of just sat on top. There wasn't enough to really like go down into the layers of the hair. So I rinsed it out after trying in vain to scrub the damp parts of my hair onto the dry parts of my hair. And I rinsed it out with water, and then I used my lemon juice. It was a teaspoon of lemon juice and a cup of water as a rinse. And as I was trying to scrub that into my hair, I could tell that it was just all oil, and I don't expect it to come out really all that great. And then I, rinsed the juice out with water, finished the rest of my shower, and we'll see how it turns out, but I'm not expecting anything great just because lack of resources. So we'll see how that comes out later. So my hair is dry and I feel like I don't have much to work with, considering I really didn't have much to work with. But we'll start with the bottom of my hair that got the majority of the aloe in it. So it's pretty soft. It feels like it has a coating of that aloe gel on it. Before, when I had my fingers in the bowl trying to deal with getting the gel out of the plant and off the spoon, my fingers were really, really soft and moist, and that is what the ends of these hair feel like. So when I got the hair into the aloe gel, it was about It's about this much of the ends of the hair that ended up soaking up all that gel. And it feels kind of clean. It feels kind of soft, very soft, like it's coated with that gel. And if I look and feel up here on top of my head, it doesn't feel like a lot of the oil was removed, and it really was only just about up here that got that gel. But compared to like underneath here, it's like all stringy. Up on top, it's a lot less stringy, so some of the oil was definitely removed. I think if more aloe gel had gotten there and it had been able to sit and soak for a longer period of time, that more oil would have been removed. So even though there's only a little bit of progress that I see, it is something, and I would most certainly want to try using aloe gel again. One thing I noticed that's a little bit irritating is just like when I used the apple sauce and I got all of those pieces of the apple fruit in my hair, same thing happened with this. The aloe gel, when I blended it up, I did end up with little pieces of the pulp left behind, and that ended up in my hair. The difference between that and applesauce is with the apples, they have sugar in them, so that caused the pieces of fruit to stick to my hair, and I had to tug it off, and I could feel it. With the aloe gel, because it's super slippery, I'm able to get it out easy, but being able to grab it is a little bit of a challenge, because even though I rinsed out all the aloe gel, those pieces of pulp are still kind of slippery. So I definitely think this warrants another try. I definitely think I want to try getting the jar of aloe gel from the drugstore or the grocery store, wherever I can find it. And I definitely want to try this again. So I hope that you have a better time using aloe gel than I did, and that you have a nice rest of your day. So I have been learning a little bit here and there about how to take care of my brush. I had been looking at it over the past couple months after using it, and I was like, well, there seems to be some weird stuff building up in there. I can definitely tell that there's little fuzzy pieces that are stuck in there somehow, and I was like, I wonder if we're even supposed to clean these. I would think you would. So looking online, I found that yes, indeed, you are supposed to clean these, and you're supposed to clean these monthly, which I haven't done because there were no instructions on the packaging when I got this brush as to how to clean it. So there are a few different things you can do. One is obviously just removing the hair as you go. Another one is actually to use a fine comb. There's actually combs out there specifically for cleaning brushes, and you can just kind of stick it in there and try to comb out all of the pieces that are in there. I actually got some pieces out just now, and it's working. Unfortunately, this particular comb, the bristles aren't super long, so it might be more difficult for me to get out all of the stuff that is stuck inside this brush. But yep, it's getting stuff out. There's obviously, you can just run your fingers over the bristles, and that will help to just get like loose dandruff and other things like that out. And then there's the more complicated stuff. Oil doesn't just come out from running a comb through the bristles. Now, pretty much everything I read said, oh, if you have a plastic brush or if you have a metal brush, then you can just run it in a, well, not really run it, but like swish it back and forth in hot water and soap. Well, if you use hot water and soap on a brush like this, it's going to end up soaking into the wood. The hot water makes all of the finish and the wood super soft, and the soap, it breaks down the whatever shellac is on here, and it allows the water to go into the handle. So obviously that's not going to be helpful. Some say, oh, if you have a wooden brush, just dip the bristles in and don't submerge the wood. Others say you can submerge the wood as long as it's cold water only with no soap. Well, that's not really going to get the oil off there now, is it? It might get some other things off of there, like the dandruff, but other than that, the oil is still going to be on there. And then once you're done with that, you're supposed to let it drip dry. Well, with my brush, since it's a double-sided brush, I could see that being a little difficult. I'd have to let it sit, and then I'd have to flip it over and let it sit some more so that the water is not sitting on the wood for too long and it will dry. But overall, those are just some ideas for how to keep your brush clean.